I wanted to create a recording about the Quest Games Optimizer, maybe for a non-traditional user like myself. I know a lot of people talk about the Quest Games Optimizer and increasing their graphic quality, boosting their frame rates, and just in general having a better viewing experience closer to PC VR. However, as a PC VR user and a Quest standalone user, um, I can tell you this: if you do have, challenges with eyesight, you may or may not experience a graphics difference in the sense that my eyes cannot quite discern the difference. When I play with it on or off, I don't notice a difference necessarily in the clarity, but that doesn't mean there's no benefits to having the app. So I wanted to discuss a few things. So if you wanted to launch it after you've got it installed, which if you follow the instructions on their website, it does take some extra steps. You do have to be in developer mode, which also takes a few extra steps. I was already in developer mode due to a previous app, and so it was actually quite simple for my user. And the biggest reason why we got this is because it was recently announced that it will support secondary accounts. And so my secondary user would notice a difference in the graphics. It is something that he would enjoy. So because of that, we took advantage of a recent sale and we went ahead and bought one license for each of us. So it is important to know that even if you are sharing an account, that you each buy your own license, because if I make changes to my graphics and he makes changes to his graphics, if we are sharing one account, it will ultimately revert our settings back and forth to each other. So it is important that each user gets their own license. I was able to clarify that with the developer as well. So again, if you open up your apps, you're not going to find your Quest Games Optimizer in here. It's going to be in your unknown sources. It was recently moved, so if I hit expand here, I will see it over here on my side menu. When I open it, here is Quest Games Optimizer. I can launch it from here. And then this is what the I have to allow. Okay, there we go. This is what the home page will look like. So this is just updates. These are just letting me know some of the recent changes to the profile. So if I just click this X in the corner, the last page that I was open to was the page for the Quest Store database. So it will always remember the last page that you closed it on. So let's go to applications and start there. These are my recently installed apps, and if I go down through the filter and I say recently launched apps, you'll see these are some of the games that I have played recently. So Little Planet is an early access game. It does not have a built-in profile. You will see these other ones have HD+, HD+, HD, and they have various levels. But if you were to look at mine, it just has the two people on it. This is a custom profile. Again, Little Planet is in early access. It does not have a profile built into this. And Virtual Desktop, of course, would not have a profile because it is simply just a way to connect to your PC and you're actually viewing your PC graphics. So it wouldn't be able to boost those graphics. So as far as Little Planet, because the game is in early access, it's a little bit shaky. So all I did was tweak the frame rate ever so slightly and then tweak the graphics resolution by about 50%. And the reason that I did that is because I prefer smooth turning in most of the games as opposed to snap turning. And it does smooth out the experience as you rotate. So although it's not necessarily improving my overall graphics experience, it is making it much simpler for me to endure movement in games much longer because it stabilizes it to the point where I don't have as much motion sickness. So it is affecting the graphics. My eyes don't quite discern it the same as other people. My eyes just see smoother turning, but the graphics overall when I launch with and without, just again, for me and my limitations, it's not a huge jump. But that's not all this app offers. So it's important that you look at it as a whole. For the price, what I'm really enjoying is the integration with the Quest Store. So if you click on this Q over on the left, anybody who is familiar with PCVR sales over on the Steam store, you'll know about Tracker on the Steam store. So there is a tracker that looks very, very similar. I mean, the interface is almost identical. And it just shows you updates. It shows you popularity. It'll show you, depending on your sort, the games that are currently on sale. But what's unique about this app is that it also includes the coupons. So say this game is not on sale, but it has a 95% coupon. It looks like the staff at Quest Games Optimizer is going through and manually going in and adding in these coupons. And because it's integrated with the Quest store, if I click on anything, for example, if I click on this, it launches the Quest store. It launches me to that game so that I can go ahead and watch the trailer, make a purchase if I'd like. And if you'll see, the game is $20 here, but according to this, it's only $1 because of a 95% coupon. So I can click this section to copy the coupon, and I'd be able to paste it in upon checkout. So I find that to be really user friendly, very user thoughtful, and just a really well-rounded experience for someone who maybe if you'll notice, the store sales are quite difficult to navigate. I don't think I would have ever seen these particular games listed in the store as having these sales or having these coupons, because everything's sort of buried. So I do enjoy the ability to filter, by genre, by multiplayer, by co-op, discount. It uses all the same filters as the Quest store, but the difference is it shows you everything, like the deep, dark dive of some of the games that maybe you haven't seen before. So I just thought that was a really, really cool thought. The other thing I love about this is it's in the settings. They have right here, if this was the headset that I had my secondary account on, which it is not, if I click on secondary accounts, we did test this out. I am a Quest Plus subscriber. My secondary user is not. I have games that I have installed that on my secondary user's account, it says they cannot install them. However, if they go on to my account, the primary account on their headset, install the game, they can then push that game to the secondary user account and play it. We've tested this on 4 or 5 Quest Plus games. It's pretty awesome because it makes it so that whatever games I have access to, whether purchased or whether rented through Quest Plus, it's a really cool feature. Now, I don't know how long this will last. I did see some talk in the Discord, in Quest Games Optimizer Discord, that this feature, depending on Meta's allowance, may or may not stick around, but as of right now, it's working. The other thing that I really enjoy about this is the shortcut. So shortcut number 1, he teaches you how, like the developer teaches you how to pin your app if you want to have like a dedicated space for it. I don't like to pin my apps down here because I go through them so frequently and I don't use this every time. Shortcut number 2, what they do is they say toggle this on, and if you hover over your library for 1 second, it's going to auto detect and launch Quest Games Optimizer. Right now, I am not using that. I have it toggled off. The reason why is I find myself hovering over that button quite frequently, and I do it unintentionally, and so I'm constantly launching Quest Games Optimizer accidentally. Even when I'm in another app, like if I hit my right Oculus button just to check the time, sometimes I hover over that library and I end up popping up Quest Games Optimizer. So I went with shortcut number 3, which again, thought this was really thoughtful. All that it does is it allows you to designate one of these unused buttons. So maybe the Horizon feed, maybe your notifications button, maybe your profile. It allows you to dedicate one of those to being the Quest Games Optimizer auto launch detection. So I typed in the word profile here because that was the term when you hover over this button. And what it does is it auto launches it for me. So I'm going to go ahead and close Quest Games Optimizer. Let me close the store. And if you notice, if I hover over the library, nothing. But watch, if I hover over this profile, here's my Quest Games Optimizer. It auto-launches, and it brings you into my settings menu because that was the last menu I was on. But if I close out on my recently launched applications, and I hover, it's going to come right back. And again, this is that pop-up tooltip. I can turn that off in the settings as well if I don't want to see that each launch. But if I click the X, it brings me to the last screen that I was on. So I do find that there are other beneficial features, and there's so much more to dig through. I mean, there really are a lot. Video capture settings. There's a shell terminal if you want to do any, custom work in here. Of course, there's tons of settings menus and in the secondary user stuff. Additional actions and shortcuts. That's the Quest store I covered briefly. And so there is a lot to love about this app beyond the graphics improvement. I think it's a really well-rounded experience. I think it becomes a nice hub station for when you sign on, where you start and to see, what profiles you have to work with. It is an absolute battery eater if you are playing with these like HD plus profiles. So I won't lie, most of the time that I am playing these, I end up plugging my headset in. Even though I do have the Bob S3 with the endless battery life, I'm not paying attention and I'm killing my batteries much quicker. So because I'm not paying attention, and again, this is just me, if I listen to the beeps and the warnings from my batteries, I could swap them over more efficiently. But as of right now, because I do play seated for most of my games, it's not an inconvenience. I just connect my 16-foot, power cable into the side, secure it so that I don't pull on the power port, the USB-C port, and then I can continue playing, and I play endlessly. So again, I've had some really great experiences with this, especially in the early access games where the smooth turning maybe not so smooth. So if you're worried about if this is for you because you may or may not get a benefit out of it, and again, I'm not being paid. This is not sponsored. I bought these licenses, legitimately, and it's just one of those things that when a tool is more than just what is being bragged about, when a tool offers these extra features, I think it's worth sharing.